Welcome back. Let's now discuss some auto sales. We have Bajaj Auto sales, which flashed on the screen a while back. Slightly below estimates, actually. The total sales are down about 2%. And that's mainly because while the domestic two-wheeler sales have been up 28%, there's a big decline in exports, 33% down at 1.25 lakh. We have Rakesh Sharma now joining us, Executive Director at Bajaj Auto, to discuss this. Rakesh, good morning. Is this the Nigeria factor which has played out and any sign of improvement here?
Morning. You are right. Nigeria is certainly one of the factors, but you know that the environment for international has become rather choppy in the last 2-3 months, and things have taken a very sudden movement, I would say, about July onwards, and largely led by the moves by the Fed in the US, which has sort of strengthened the dollar against emerging market economies, making the currencies devalue at figures like 20-25%, so which unleashes an inflationary trend. And more than that, the availability of dollar for international trade has reduced. And we are seeing this not just in Nigeria, but we are seeing this in South Asia, Bangladesh, big devaluation, Nepal, Egypt, severe dollar crunch, and almost entirely across Africa. So the outcome is a quick adjustment done by us to ensure that, to take the prudent approach of ensuring stocks on the water and in the markets are brought in line with the expected retails, which for some time I think will be lower than what we were experiencing in Q4 of last year and even in April and May this year.
I remember asking this Forex question, discussing this with you last time you were on the program. Maybe things have turned out to be a little more severe than expected. Mr. Sharma, hi, good morning. Prashant here. Nigeria is between 15 to 20% of your overall volumes, right? Could you give us a sense of, what total volumes in FY23 so far to Nigeria have been and how they compare, how much down are they as compared to full year 22 volumes?
Well, without going into exact volume country details, but suffice it to say that the African business is rather down by about 20-25%. It's a major contributor to the decline in exports. But, the good thing is that we faced the most severe issue in Nigeria in the month of August, and the September retails have already started to show a rise. But like I mentioned just a few minutes back, what happens is that it's very important to reduce the exposure in stocks for our partners. And what you see is also a reduction in caused by leveling out the stocks. So in Africa, I would say I'm a little bit heartened about the second half performance of the retail market in Nigeria. Not back to the old levels, but the 20% odd declines have already started to taper off to about 10%, 15%, indicating that some kind of acceptance by customers has already started to take place. But it's early days. I would like to watch it for another month or so before sort of feeling absolutely comfortable.
So for the full year, you mentioned this Africa, but Nepal, Bangladesh, etc. For the full year, Bajaj Auto exports should be down how much for the year compared to 22? Double digits?
Again, this is a combination of a performance in 70 countries odd. And the world at this stage has got a very varied impact of the macroeconomic stuff which is going on. So I would say that certainly Q2 has been below our plan, and Q3 is also going to be below our plan. But on the basis of information we are picking up at the retail level, in case there is no further sort of volatility in the currency markets, I would say the equilibrium would start to return certainly by Q4. Stocks would be in healthier shape, and we should be getting back to what our original plan for growth was in Q4. But I doubt if we will be able to recover what we have lost in Q2 and what we may sort of lose in Q3, which will be lower than what we lost in Q2.
Okay, so that's on exports. Got your point. And as I said, maybe the September retail in Nigeria is already showing improvement, but this is going to remain volatile, is the gist. What about domestic sales? There you must have much better visibility, right? What's happening here in terms of market share? How are things moving? Because, we've seen, for example, Royal Enfield sales have been, really moving at a scorching pace. Your domestic sales, how do they look going forward? What's the outlook?
Well, at this point of time, I must say that the September outturn has been excellent for us. We went through a little bit of a dry patch, largely because of ECU shortage which lasted till August, September. We're still facing a little bit of shortage, which is impairing largely our three-wheelers and some very, very high-end bikes. But mostly, we have been able to replenish the channel stocks, and our retails are moving up smartly. The market share which had got eroded because of supply chain shortfalls has now, by end of September, on the basis of Vahan, we are back to what we were pre this kind of a level. So that's an excellent thing. The industry retails, as we are reading it, is also showing promising for the festive season, from a period when in Q4 industry was declining, and I'm talking of retail, I'm not commenting on billing by the companies, but registrations. So the industry, which was declining double digit in Q4, had sort of narrowed it down to single digit decline in July, August, has in September, and particularly in second half of September, and particularly in the last few days when the festive calendar has kicked in, is showing a single-digit growth. I think this is going to expand. Within that, the entry level is suffering a lot still. It is still in major decline. But if we cut the domestic industry into 125cc and above, the 125cc and above is showing a really, really healthy uptick. And you just have to compare the data for the last 3 years. You will see that this segment, which was the 125cc and above, which was about 40-41% of the industry, has now moved to about 60%, 58 to 60%. Sorry, about 55%. So that's almost a 10 percentage point movement, which is showing that the upper end customer is returning to the purchasing ways much faster, and the entry level customer is still having a problem.
Entry level. So I'm going to just again trying to. What would full year kind of change look like year on year? Could you give us some sense on the domestic side, sir?
Last couple of years, we've stopped looking at this full year business because it's kind of crystal ball gazing is not doing any good. The only place where we are sort of planning, we don't have an issue with capacity, but it's really the product development side which is looking at 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years down the line. But in terms of sales and business, we are managing from month to quarter because we find that there are so many forces which are very temporary, and but when they are in play, they are very intense, and so we have to manage for them. But it's a good sign that the festive is showing promise. But previously we have seen that immediately post-festive, there is a decline because there is a sort of a reshaping of the consumer behavior. It starts to get more and more bunched nowadays compared to before during the festive period. So we will take it as it comes, but it's looking like after a long time, the two-wheeler industry is returning to some kind of a growth environment.
When should we see that electric three-wheeler product from you, sir?
You asked me this question last time onwards also, and I told you we were the first off the block. We have launched the electric scooter Chetak a couple of years back, and it's doing rather well. We've had a good month. It's as per plan. And going forward, in the next 12 to 18 months, you will see an expansion of the portfolio.
No, I meant the three-wheeler, sir. Three-wheeler.
Yeah. So the three-wheeler is.
I was reading that the electric three-wheeler segment has kind of surpassed, the growth rate has surpassed the ICE three-wheeler segment in terms of just the pace at which the segment is growing, and Bajaj doesn't have a product yet there. So just asking that.
Yeah, sure. You see, the growth rates are not something because it's at a very, very small base, so there's no point looking at growth rate. But you're right in pockets, particularly where there is government support. Because otherwise, for a commercial application, the economics on the CNG three-wheelers is still, the economics is loaded in favor of the CNG three-wheeler. So the case is not very strong, but still, irrespective of that, every month, you're right that the three-wheeler, electric three-wheeler is growing and increasing its volumes. We are, our electric three-wheeler is actually under test and has been put in a few markets. And, we are addressing the particular anxieties which customers have brought to our notice. We have been talking to auto rickshaw drivers, and after the introductions of by the earlier introductions, particularly in Delhi, which is given permits only for electric. Delhi government has issued permits of 4,500 for about 6 to 9 months now, but nobody has taken them up. There's a trickle. Only 400 units have got sold. So why is it when a government is supporting it, not allowing any other three-wheeler, but still the uptake is so small? So we've gone and met the drivers and everyone as to why are you guys not buying three-wheelers, electric three-wheelers? And there have been a few things which have been pointed to us. We have made those adjustments and we are testing so that when we come into the market, we address these anxieties, and wherever government is creating space, we rapidly move in and start to service the customers.
All right, Mr. Sharma.
So I would say, by January or so, we should be
out with
out with
the product. Thank you.